Right, guys, welcome back to the Kirk Miller Podcast. Today I have a man who I would arguably say has been one of my best ever built to last clients since I came into coaching, and that is Lukey Bland. How long have you been with me now, Luke?
3 years, just over 3 years.
3 years, and I think where you are now to where you were on that first phone call is a little bit different, right?
Just a tad, yeah.
Yeah. What? Just share with the listeners, like, what made you first? Yeah, what made you first reach out to me? Because if I remember correctly, am I right in saying you'd followed me for a few years? I think you'd seen me on the Men's Health magazine, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I followed you for years on the Men's Health stuff on Instagram, and then around that time, I think you put something out about obviously taking a few new clients on.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'd set my business up.
Just share with the listeners what a bit about your business.
So I've got a scaffold company.
How long have you had that for?
7 years now. So back then, I was about 4 years in, I suppose. We've got like 8 or 9 lads. Back then, it would have been me and my business partner. We might have had 2 lads.
And that was even when you first started.
Came with you, like when I first reached out to you.
Yeah.
So it had been 3 or 4 years of just flat out. Yeah. All I cared about was scaffolding. Yeah. The firm. I looked quite bigger than I do now.
Well, yeah, just to give some context, because I know some people are going to listen to this on the podcast, and then some will watch it back on YouTube. But how heavy were you when you first kicked off with me?
What was I? I was about 80 kilos today. I must have been about near 90, 91 kilos, I think.
See, I can't picture that now, because obviously in the last year and a half, and we'll unpack this today, because one of the reasons I wanted to get Luke on, aside from just being an amazing, loyal client and great friend now, I think Luke's story is going to be so relatable to so many people, so many entrepreneurs in particular, and business owners who are all or nothing, right?
Yeah.
Because I think I'd say you, Smithy, Matt Wilson, if there's any clientele that has ever ticked the box for being all or nothing, it's certainly you guys. So you were 1991, and am I right in saying at that time that's where you obviously taught you weren't married when you first started, were you?
No, so I was getting married. So I joined on I was getting married that year in September in Santorini. Yeah. And that was another big thing. It was like best shape of your life for the photos and whatever. Yeah. But more than anything, it was, I think you'd actually put something on your Instagram about business owners and letting yourselves go and all that, and it all going into your business. And I just thought that's literally me. I've spent 4 years of putting everything into my business to get it to where it had got to. We'd just started to turn the corner where I had a bit more time. Yeah. And Tori actually took a photo of me during lockdown in a garden.
I remember the picture.
Yeah, so does PD. He tells me about it all the time. And I was with my little girl, and I think that's what it was. And I'm bent over, and there was a bit there.
Was she in a pad? Was that the
pool? Yeah,
paddling pool.
That's it,
yeah,
with the hair and the head and the.
Am I right in saying did you have a can of beer in your hand?
No, that's the one with the boy. I think he had one as well. But I saw that, but she didn't show me it till the Christmas, and I remember looking at it and thinking, "Fuck, what is that? Like, that's not good." Because she was in it, and I thought, right, maybe it's time to try and then literally a week or so later, I see your post, reached out, we had the call, and jumped on board. Yeah,
what were you struggling with most when you first started? I mean, because am I right in saying you trained or been very active for a number of years? I mean, give the listeners a little bit of context. You trained to be in the Marines, right?
Yeah, so when I left school, I passed all the selection, went down. I was down there for 6 months. Yeah, scaffolding itself's really active. My father-in-law owns a massive gym. Yeah. So he probably weren't too proud when he saw the state of me. So I'd always trained. And even probably then when I joined for about a year, like I say, because of the business, I weren't training. But I'd always trained up to that point. But it's that all or nothing. I loved the beer, weekends, on the smash. Even when I was setting up my business, the drinking was one thing I did stay consistent with. I managed to keep that going. Probably more that side of it than anything. Just everything going into the business. Well, if I'm doing that, then I can't possibly do the gym as well. Do you know what I mean? Like that mentality. Yeah. And obviously I joined and we tried breaking that.
And then what was interesting about Luke's story, I shared this at our event the other day, deny with your story. I've coached a lot of people over the years, and I think your first 12 weeks was one of the most potent 12 weeks I've ever seen from a client, of someone who went from being quite fat to being ripped to fuck within 12 weeks. Like, what was your mindset for that first 12 weeks? Because, I mean, it didn't stay that way for too long afterwards. What was your mindset going into that first 12 weeks? Because I genuinely think there's a lot of people listening to this that literally think, how fast can I lean down? How fast can I get the six pack? How fast can I change? But there's always a cost to that. But what was your mindset like, or maybe awareness of what you thought you needed to do to get you to where you want to be at that point for that first 12 weeks?
So yeah, I'm very black or white. Like, if I see something, I see it. If I say something, I say it. We had the call. This is what we're going to do. You track your food. What do you mean track your food? No, you track your food every day. Everything. You bought some digital scales. I didn't. If I weighed out some rice, if it was a gram over, I'd cut the gram out and I'd cut another gram off just to make sure there was no discrepancy on the scale. You can ask Tori. Like, it was brutal. Didn't miss a session, like religiously did not miss a session. Steps, probably done 15,000 instead of 10,000. Obviously, I was still scaffolding as well.
Yeah.
Fucking the Kirk Miller Instagram Wall of Fame was in the back of the mind. I've got to get on there as well. Yeah, and then, like you say, lost the weight. I remember you saying when I got to that point, there was a photo of the before one. It was like my fat twin brother. And then you said you even look a little bit better looking because obviously you've lost weight in your face and whatever. So yeah, it was just, let's do it. But at that point, that was the goal, just to get ripped. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was no plan of what's going to happen after. And I actually remember you saying to me, I said to you, what's next? What's the next goal? And I remember you saying, I literally remember exactly where I was in the car, listening to the voice note, stay there for a year. Like, you've got to stay in shape for a year. And I literally remember thinking, that ain't a goal. I'll just stay the same. And honestly, this man who's got millions of people in shape or whatever, that's not a goal, whatever. And yeah, it went pretty downhill after that.
Then what happened? Because this is what I love about your journey, Luke. I mean, you've shared your story to our community. Look, you've been with us for 3 years, but the journey after that first 12 weeks certainly wasn't as smooth as the first 12 weeks, was it, in terms of consistency? So what happened after 12 weeks?
So it slacked off a bit. Then it came up towards my wedding in the September. Oh no, sorry. England had a bit of a run at the Euros. Me and my business partner, and my stag do. So there was about a 12, 14 week period in between where England were flying at the Euros. We managed to get tickets to all the games, including the final. My stag do was in there as well. And I went from incredibly consistent with my food to incredibly consistent with my drink.
So I remember seeing, Luke, some of your Facebook videos.
Yeah, you called me about it.
It was tremendous social media view, and you look like you're certainly having a good time. Put it that way.
Well, you actually messaged me saying you've not been quite as consistent in the app or whatever, and I said, oh yeah, no, I've been flat out. And you went, I've seen your Instagram, Luke. I was, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So that, with all jokes aside, it did go downhill, that side of it. I think in my head, again, the way I am, well, I've done it, I've got in shape. That happened, and then it dawned on me, oh shit, I'm getting married again. So then we had to turn it up a notch. So I got back into relatively good shape for my wedding. And then the wedding happened, and then it was just, I was pretty much non-existent. I obviously stayed in Built to Last, but there was a lot of diversion tactics going on in the app. Mm-hmm. Stevie came on board and was my coach. And yeah, I was a nightmare probably.
What was your initial motivation? You know, I always ask people, what's the why? What was your initial, be brutally honest here, right? Because ultimately, I think if there was, if your why was as deep as it is probably now, which will impact too, back then, I don't believe you'd have fell off after that first 12 weeks. But what was the initial motive for changing?
I said to you on the call, my family, but looking back, that's a load of bollocks.
Yeah.
It was to get in shape for my wedding, probably. That was
So it was all about, and this is important for the listeners. Yeah, this is important. And I've said this on individual podcasts. I've said it as a guest. For me, it was a surface level goal. It was all about the exterior, about looking good. Now, listen, as we're sat here today, Luke's in fantastic shape, smashing hierarchies, all that type of stuff. But what that is a lesson to anybody that if your sole motive is on changing is all about how you look. It's a matter of time before there's not enough deeper meaning to behind the goal to stay in shape. And Luke's testament to that. So I'd say, what was it, for maybe about a year and a half period, there was lots of ups and downs. And just be brutally honest here, Luke, like what happened over the next year and a half? Because I mean, I've said this to clients recently who are looking up you, putting you on a bit of a pedestal, which is fantastic. Like, you know, he's a client Hall of Famer and I would say arguably our most consistent client for sure, as it stands. So people are, like you say, really looking up to you at the minute. I mean, they've just been picking your brains, haven't they, at our recent Dubai event. But for that period, sort of in and around the wedding, then after the wedding, like, explain the ups and downs of the journey. Like, what were your habits like?
After the wedding, it went majorly downhill. The drinking went through the roof.
Why do you think that was? Was it work stress? Was it family? Like, what do you think it was? Was it environment? What was the reason?
I think initially it was because of the why. Like, now I know was the wedding. It was like, right, done. I never wanted to not be in built. I wanted to stay in built to life. And to be honest, I was still doing the workouts. Monday or Tuesday to Thursday, maybe I'd get them in. But then it'd go downhill at the weekends. So yeah, I think I just fell off the wagon. And I call it no man's land. Like, I'd got in shape, got married. It was like, well, what next? Well, the business, everything was sort of doing okay, just treading water. But in that meantime, I think my drinking and other stuff crept in and got worse. And it became this horrendous routine of work hard Tuesday to Thursday, Thursday night, start on the sesh, finish Sunday at some point, Monday hanging, Tuesday same, and then sort of knew I had to get back into my training, but you can't out-train that. So obviously, even forgetting the body side of it, but I was feeling a bit shit about myself, to be honest. Everyone on the surface, he probably looked great. Oh, he's got his business, 2 kids, married. Oh, Luke's doing great. And to be honest, the business was doing fine. I've got a business partner who's brilliant. So that was all going okay. But I knew deep down, which was killing me really, is that I was probably going that way while everything else looked like it was going up. So I've got everyone blowing smoke on my ass. Oh, you're doing great. And I was thinking, I'm not. Like, it's going the other way. So yeah, that went on for probably about a year. Yeah, September to September is near enough where I knocked it on the head. And that was, God knows how many lads trips, nights out, sessions in that time. And it was just that you're unstoppable, like, just keep going sort of thing. And yeah, it had to come to a stop at some point.
And what impact, you know, during that period, like you say, you were drinking from Thursday to Sunday. What impact was that having on, like, family?
Yeah, looking back now, it was shit. But Tori's my wife, she's literally unreal. She she put up with so much shit. And
shout out to Tori, by the way.
She's unreal. She she put up with some shit, and I think I just got used to, I'll get away. Everyone used to say to me, cool, you get away with murder. Like, yeah, like, it was a pride thing. Yeah, I'll get away with murder. Like, carry on. But the kids started to, so my little girl Isla, she started to notice that it used to be like, oh, daddy's on the beers. It then went to, oh, daddy, can you not have a beer? Like,
wow.
And I'm like, why? Like, and then I'd get the I'm like, she's fine. Why are you getting up with a fight? Because she noticed that if I would be drinking, she related that to we then didn't do nothing the next day. Wow. That I'd be hanging. Or me and Tori never massively argued, but if we did, it was after, or if we had a little argument, it'd be after I'd been drinking. So I clocked that. I was like, well, in the end, I clocked that. So yeah, obviously that all started to go a bit downhill, the family side of it as well. And even business, like, I'd wake up on a Monday and probably shouldn't admit this, but my phone was ringing. I'd be like, oh, fucking don't want to deal with this today. Like, everything's still...
Yeah. Just from overcooking the alcohol and losing your discipline across sort of Friday to Sunday.
Yeah, and doing
and
something.
The mad thing is at that point, and this is what I possibly challenge a lot of other entrepreneurs and business owners. Like, if your business is doing great or pretty good, like yours was, yet you are drinking quite heavily, eating, over-consuming a lot of food. You must have been thinking, imagine where it could be if I just up my game a little bit with my habits and managing your socials, etc.
Yeah, that clicked in. I had one particular trip that I came back from, and Tori's never ever she's never ever moaned about being anyway. And she didn't moan, to be fair. We came back and we had a conversation. And to be honest, if I'm brutally honest, it was around doing drugs and whatever. And I said, no, I admitted it, but I fucking literally I'd been on a 4-day bender. I weren't quite in the right. I just fell apart.
Yeah.
And I promised her that I'll never do it again. And if I'm perfectly honest now, we have this conversation. Yeah. I needed that. I needed her to question me on it, because I think where she was so brilliant, in my head it was, well, just fucking carry on and get away with her to carry on. And she questioned me on it, which was completely fair enough. And I'm so happy she done it, because I think that day, I remember at the time it was horrendous and I felt like the worst fucking person in the world. But I remember thinking this could end up being the best thing that's ever happened to me. So I knocked all that on the head. I promised her, and if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to
how long ago was that, Luke?
That was last September.
Last September.
A year after the wedding.
Yeah, and it's like April now, and that's like...
Sorry, the September before that, so it's been, 18 months?
That's 18 months, yeah, but when you've got these habitual behaviour patterns, and I spoke about my own story with struggles with alcohol and drugs as well, Luke, so there's zero judgment, and I guarantee there's lots of people listening to this podcast who have also fell into the trap of drink, and excessive drink can then lead to, obviously, drugs, and then the binge eating and all this type of stuff. But everyone has a threshold and a moment, or you'd like to think has that moment where you just sort of wake up and you go, you know what, do I want to keep living my life that way? What changed then? What changed? Because honestly, I don't say this lightly. In all my years of coaching, I don't believe I've ever seen someone shift their identity as much of you, Luke. And I'm not just saying that because you've been sat here, mate. Like, you are really like everything that we're trying to do within Built to Last, which is create lasting change and shift someone's identity, shift their beliefs, shift their standards. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone struggle so much with, you know, the on it, off it mentality, the all or nothing, the management of alcohol, around the hard work, like, and then flick a switch, and literally, like, what you've done in the last 18 months, Luke, is ridiculous, you know. But what did you say to yourself when Tori had that conversation? And look, you might have had a conversation with me. I know we had multiple conversations, didn't we, as well? But what did you say to yourself in that moment when you knew you were underperforming, you weren't bringing the best of you to family, relationship, kids, business? Like, what did you say to yourself? What shifted? Yeah, we had that chat, and I knew I needed that anyway. So once we had that chat, I weren't ever going to do it again. I knew that. And then a couple of months later, so it come around Christmas time, I knew I wanted to give not drink on the head, or not ever say I'm not going to drink again, because I'm not that sort of person, but at least give it a go and see where I can get to. And I remember thinking, all everyone ever tells you is you're so all or nothing, you're so black or white. And I literally remember thinking, well, if I'm that all or nothing and I can be that fucking good at going out on the sesh, what could I be like if... Because I know I'm quite athletic. I thought, if I put everything into something positive, my health, my business, my family. And I remember it got to the December, and I spoke to Stevie and you, and I set some goals for the year. And I remember the app in Built to Last is, if you just tick them fucking things off, I can't not get better. And I thought, just a year, commit to it for a year, and just see where I'm at the January after. Just do them things in the app. Your steps, your workout, your food. But then on top of that, you spend good time with your family, and all these other things. And I remember I wrote a list of all the things that... I wrote 2 lists. One was all the things that are good about... And it was over a few months when I'm on the beers and what comes from it. And I still haven't got one on there. I've had some amazing memories, from it, but I couldn't find a positive from doing that. And then I had a list of what goes wrong when I'm on the beers, and I think we're up to about 30 odd at the moment. I think I've actually got it on my phone. And then there was another one of all the things that have gone wrong, like that I've done that have made things go tits up. And there wasn't one on there that weren't to do with when I was on the beers. It was always when I was on the beers. So in my head, again, because I'm so black or white, so if everything over here is going so wrong when I'm doing that, just stop fucking doing that. So the great lesson for that, for anyone listening who is, again, maybe can relate to Luke's story in any way, is what you did there, whether you realised it or not, was evaluate all the negative impacts and the consequences on your life, and maybe the opportunities you're missing out on as a result of that behaviour.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I'm sure you probably also evaluated since how has life got better since not doing it.
yeah, like tenfold, and it's it's not all because of drink. It's not, and
No.
like Built to Last. I joined, like you say, I lost. You said the other day, I lost the weight, got in shape. Then it's gone like that, and it's gone so like that. So it's not all just about the drink and drugs or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was, but I think if I weren't around you, the Built to Last community, I think a lot of that stuff wouldn't have happened. Dubai last year, the trip in April.
Yeah, explain to the listeners, like, what do you mean by Dubai trip last year?
Yeah, so the event that we was on last year, Kirk does every year, the Built to Last event. The year before you asked me to come, and mid-session, that weren't happening. Oh, and I'll be honest, I bottled it. I've said this to loads of people. I bottled it. I said I was going to come, didn't come. I put everyone on a pedestal and be around these high-performing people. I'm just a scaffold and whatever. And then the next one came round. So April last year, I'd have not been on the beers for 3 or 4 months, and I started to feel really good. Yeah. And I still didn't want to come. And Tori, to be fair to her.
Why didn't you want to come?
I think the same thing. I think I'd never met anyone from the community. I had everyone on the pedestal and you had a go at me about this as well. Don't ever put anyone on a pedestal. Like, yeah. I'm going to be around all these people. But she made me come. She forced me into coming. I remember, I told loads of people about this week. I sat in the room on the first morning. We had the workout. And I was shitting myself about coming down, meeting everyone. And I came down and we'd done the workout, and within hours of having conversations, I was like, it literally blew my mind, the people I'm sitting with. It's nothing to do with money or just, everyone was so positive, wanted to know what I was up to. Yeah. Spent 4 days with them. And that trip, as much as the conversation with Tori that day changed how I think, that trip definitely had a huge impact. And even Tori said last night when I was saying about like coming over here, she said about you, she said even with Kirk, like, she went, I'm so appreciative because you and Built to Last it's given her a better life because I'm a better dad, husband. Obviously, I'm fitting. She's not having to get in bed with a fatty every night. So, yeah, just as a whole, I think that trip was the catalyst. And I said it to a few lads who were looking at coming out this time. I said, just get it. Don't even think about what's going to happen, like when you're here, what we're going to do. Just get on the trip. I guarantee you'll go back and it's going to make you better.
Yeah. How much? Because again, I've probably done 50 podcasts, whether it's by myself or spoke with other guests about the importance of environment. How much has genuinely being around the Built to Last community and I'd say more disciplined and more positive, uplifting community, like you've just said, how much difference has this environment helped you in pursuit of your goals in comparison to your previous environment? And that's nothing, there's no judgment on your previous environment, because we all merge and unmerge with people at different stages, right? But how much difference has that made to your journey? Because I try and continually hammer this home that you can have the best plan in the world, you can have the best diet in the world, but if you're not around the right people, it's very, very hard to implement things consistently and maintain those new standards.
Yeah, absolutely massive. Like, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here. I've said to you loads of times what you've built. I think is absolutely amazing. Anyway, and Tori will tell you hundreds of times. I go, she must have Built to Last 5 times a day. She knows all the big hitters in there. Like, I've got used to look up to people like Cristiano Ronaldo. I've got like Richard Porter, who I look up to, Mustafa, like all these big Al Craner, like they're all just, it's infectious. And you're sitting down, I'm sitting at breakfast all mornings on this trip, and no matter who you sit with, you're having a conversation and you're blown away, and then you're like, right, come on, we've got to go, we're going in to do a content. I'm like, but I'm talking to, you're just like picking so much stuff. Like these trips I come away from, and it's like a different level. But then even the community group on Facebook, like I've started putting a lot more on there now because I know how much it helps. See, the mindset I came from before, putting something on there on Facebook is, you're trying to get a bit of kudos, whatever. After being in there for 3 years and the amount I've taken from that, I've now started putting stuff in there because I know that can help people. And then I get people message me about asking me questions about stuff. So I know how much it rubs off. And being around, I know it's a bit cliche and everyone says it is the truest thing in the world, being around good people, and they're all so nice. It's not just like, they're all doing well. Everyone's so genuinely nice, and like I say, I'm not just saying that. It has been it really has been life changing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one thing, Luke's touched on there, which is so important. It's not just about how big someone's bank balance is or what they've achieved professionally. or even who's got the best body or who's the fastest, right? It's not about that. It's genuinely people who want to inspire other people to be better and just simply share their life experiences. I mean, think of how many conversations I've had with people this last few days in our 2024 Dubai event that haven't even been about business. It's just stuff about, it could be how you manage conversations with the missus. It could be absolutely anything, right? Even just what you do for fun outside of training, and that's what we're trying to create. Now we've got to touch on, of course, like the high rocks is and how you've took things to another level from a performance perspective. What do you think has made the biggest difference with your current strength, your current fitness? Because I mean, again, share some sort of stats and facts with the listeners. I mean, when you first started running, or say if you did in a 5K when you were first in Built to Last compared to now, I mean, and lifts and things like that. Share with people what you were lifting, what your fitness was like in comparison to how it is now.
When I joined Built to Last, mate, I don't know if I could have run 5K. I'm being serious. But even this year, since like program that competes Built to Compete, I've been on it not even 3 months. I ran a 5K in January after my first high rocks. I thought I'll just do like a tester, 22.5 minutes, which everyone said, "Oh, that's all right." And I thought, and then one of the goals by the end of this year was to run a sub 25K. It's like a thing in running, isn't it? Yeah. And the other day I ran a 19:27, and that's from doing them workouts. But yeah, from joining Built to Last, I've got videos, you've seen them, of me trying to do a squat with a 15 kg dumbbell.
Didn't you even have your high vis on?
I work gear, yeah.
Your work gear and
the overhang was getting in the way, I think, on the squat.
But you know what I noticed about that video is, because I remember that video, I even remember the look on your face you could just tell you were so uncomfortable.
I was embarrassed, yeah.
Because one thing we do inside Built to Last, being an online model, and maybe Luke can elaborate on that, is irrelevant of me having video demonstrations of every single exercise in the app. We want to try and build someone's confidence up as fast as possible with technique and execution, and then optimize training intent and effort and etc. And in order to do that, we asked for lots of videos back and forth. But how uncomfortable was it when you first did that? But how important was it that we, kept doing those sort of back and forth videos?
Yeah, it was uncomfortable. I remember thinking I was in shape. Like, not in I knew I wasn't in shape. But I remember thinking, I'm a scaffolder. Like, we're scaffolders. We're all right. And I've done that. I look back, and obviously looking back now, it's so cringe. But even at the time, it's like, Jesus, there's a long way to go there.
What were you lifting in that? What were you lifting? That must have been like, 10, 20 kilograms with a goblet or something?
Probably a 15 kg dumbbell, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never even done anything with legs at that point. Like, and you've seen them in the photos. They're like 2 bits of string hanging out of them dodgy boxers. But yeah, the progress. I remember the other day, I still struggle with squatting, really do. Like you say, it's all right, but in my head I do. And then the other day I had a realisation. I went back in the app. You can go back and see all your past lifts, and I looked back and it was like you say, a 15 kg dumbbell. And now it's like for 8 reps, 125 on a barbell squat, which ain't bad. I feel stronger. They look better.
It's like 10 times stronger than when you first started, though, Luke.
Yeah.
Let's get some context.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a bit of a realisation. So yeah, the progress on that has been absolutely huge. But the best is I just feel good. Yeah. Like I obviously, of course, I look better. I can lift more, can run faster. But I just feel, especially this year, like the last year or so, I just feel so fit and healthy. Like in myself, I've got more energy. The kids, we go on holiday, like I'll be out, we're staying out here for another week, I'll be out with them the whole time in the pool, having fun. Before I'd have been, I wouldn't have had the energy to it, then I'd have been, when can I get to is it 12? Yeah, I'll get to the bar in a minute and I'll start drinking and whatever. There's obviously none of that now anyway, but the energy levels I've got just from being fit and healthy, and obviously then that helps in my business.
Yeah, how has that helped business?
I've gone from, we pushed it at the start, and to be honest, when I joined Built to Last, I was massively still pushing it, and then lost the weight, and then that little horrible period in between where everything got really bad with the drink and whatever else. At that period, if I'm perfectly brutally honest, I didn't even care about the business growing. I was just like, if it can just stay like it is now. I had imposter syndrome, I call it, where probably shouldn't really be in this position because of what I'm doing.
When you say you shouldn't really be in this position, what do you mean?
Well, like I said earlier, everyone had me on this pedestal, blowing smoke up your arse. Cool, you're doing so well. Like, I didn't finish school. I didn't really go to school.
Did you come from money?
No, not at all. No, mum and dad were typical, normal. I had a decent upbringing, but
you built your business
I
from
worked
scratch.
my bollocks off.
You built your business from scratch.
From absolute scratch.
Yeah.
We were sat in a field for 3 months in -1 painting scaffold fittings for 3 months, and it was never not going to. I'm very dedicated when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, going back to how it's helped. So then last January when I committed to it, do you know how I describe it to some of the lads this week have been nitpicking about, and like I say, I don't like talking about not drinking, do I? Like, it's not, I don't like forcing anything on it. And it's not, how could I say that? I was the worst. But one thing I do think I've gained, I describe it as I've easily gained a day a week by not being on the piss. And that's no exaggeration. It's probably more, but I've 100% gained. I wake up in the morning, I get up at 4 or 5 every day anyway, and I am full of energy. And don't get me wrong, I go to bed at 8:30, 9 at night, but I'm even, for them hours I'm awake, I'm going for it. Business, yeah, let's get more work, make sure everything's going well. Family, kids, we're out doing it. We've done more than we've ever done. Obviously, I love my training. Like,
but business has grown. And
business has grown. Everyone's happy. Like, everything's going really well. The customers, I'm always wanting to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm quite a people person. So
Yeah.
And I want to do that now, whereas for a period, for that, I'd only say it was that year in between, I didn't. It was like, let's just get by as long as we're tread water.
But 52 days. That's 52 days a year.
Yeah,
that's insane.
And that's easily that.
That's insane because that is insane. So imagine the amount of business owners out there. Say if you are being slapped.
Well, you think if that was just one day. When people say that they've had a hangover, I'm not even talking about just the hangover day. Like, that's the hours over a week that I gained from being so much more switched on. But then forgetting the hours that I was actually on the piss, it's more than a day. But if I used to say to Tori, I've gained a day a week by not being on the lash. She's the happiest she's ever been, which is sad really, because it shouldn't really take me to stop drinking for her to be happy. I think she just got used to me being, oh, that's just what Luke's like or whatever, a bit charismatic or whatever. But she's now absolutely buzzing. So I've given her a better life by, and she even said that last night, like about me coming over. And she's like, I love it. And she said she loves Built to Last. She's not even met no one, but she loves it because of it's changed her life, really.
The influence. Yeah, just to touch on that, because I know we spoke about this before we kicked the podcast off, Luke. You did your first High Rocks when? What was it? Was it last year?
November, yeah.
Was it the Dublin one? Was it? When was that exactly?
November.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you were the first of the built to Last army that did a High Rocks, weren't you? You just said, right, I'm doing a High Rocks.
I booked it because it looked cool, and it looked cool, but I hadn't done no running. I mean, no running at all, and just turned up, and there was a baptism of fire. But that's what we're like, though, isn't it? We just chuck ourselves in.
But obviously, so just you and Tori went across to Dublin. Yeah,
so we went across, but she booked a nice hotel for the weekend. It was my birthday, and she came and watched, and oh mate, it was amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't do nowhere near as well.
What was your time on the first one?
Hour and 20.
So an hour and 20, and it was just you and Tori.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, am I right in saying that Tori supported you, but she was like, I'm never doing one then?
Yeah. So she, you could call it support. Screamed at me for the whole way round. Yeah. She was definitely the best supporter there. But she loved the energy, and I think she's proud of watching me going from. Well, if I was in Dublin, I've been Dublin 2 other times, and it weren't doing that. So, so she was just buzzing to see me do that, I think. But yeah, she loved the energy. She loved seeing the girls that were doing it. Like, oh, it's amazing. But yeah, I won't ever do that. Like, probably if she's on it, it's probably a little bit like, oh, I can't do that.
Okay.
And then we had the next one.
Where was that?
Vienna in February.
Okay.
And I done it, I think 8 minutes quicker than my one before. Again, still not that much running because we started the Built to Compete program the week after, but obviously quite a good result. Like,
it's 8 minutes faster than your previous one. It's a big dent.
Yeah. And she went, oh, I really, really love it. And so at that point, it was like, should we do a mixed doubles? Like, do a mixed doubles. She said, oh, you want to win and all that. I said, well, I want to win, but I said, but it'd be about us doing it together as a couple because I'm quite competitive. And came back and she started doing a bit of running, and I thought, oh, yeah. So then she kept saying, well, maybe I'll do a singles first. And I thought, oh, now she's thinking. Yeah. And then I booked the weekend after the Madrid one went on sale for this October, and I booked me to do the singles on the Saturday night, the pro one, and she's doing the singles on the Sunday. And she's gone from, she's she hadn't even, well, when she came to Vienna this year, she probably hadn't even run 100 metres. Like,
yeah.
She'll admit that. And she's gone out this morning, done 7K, done her quickest 5K. Like, she's
in Dubai after just landing after a lot of last minute flight complication, and she's got up and ran in.
Yeah, with 2 kids on her own, yeah. She got out there and got it done.
Yeah, but for me, as I said to Luke before we kicked off this episode, that's what it's all about, Luke, isn't it? That's what it's all about. I mean, like, yes, of course, we've got to care about our own needs and look after our own body, but when you can create that ripple effect where you're influencing missus, kids, friends, community, business partners, whatever it is, that's what it's all about. I mean, that must make you feel so good.
Oh, it's the best thing. The kids is the biggest one. I mean, Ronnie wasn't old enough to...
Yeah,
really
how old are the
kids
kids now, Luke?
So Isla's 6, Ronnie's 4. Yeah. He wasn't old enough to really... He didn't notice what was going on. Isla, like I say, she started to not want me to drink. And now, even yesterday, we went down... I took her for a little walk around the hotel, and we went up to the bar. I just wanted to get a bottle of water, and she went, "You're not having a beer?" And I went, "No." I said, "I don't have a beer anymore, do I?" And again, this is no one having a beer. Fucking hell, like, anyone do what you want, but someone like me, I had to stop. And when you see your kids, and she's so proud, she tells everyone, and I'm like, "Oh, shut up, because it's embarrassing." My daddy don't drink, and I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell." But she's proud of that.
But you know what though, Lou? Whether someone drinks or not, or it just highlights the responsibility that parents have and the influence they have on how they think, how they speak, what they do. And I just genuinely think that so many parents, they are not aware of the habits and the view of the world. It's madness. It really is. Just with Built to Last, what are the things that help you most on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis, specifically, like right now? What does it give you?
Now?
Yeah.
The community, 100%. The people in it. Mm-hmm. Like every one of them, I take little bits from every single person. Obviously, you've been, I've said hundreds of times, helped change my life, which I'm eternally grateful for.
We've had some deep conversations.
Yeah, if I wasn't crying then. Yeah, the community is amazing. I've had Richard Porter, for example. He's an absolute. We say he's an absolute legend.
Genius.
Like, I'm watching him on stage, and I'm like sitting there with my mouth open, like, is he even real? Because I can't even stand on stage and say thank you for getting the award. Like, I'm gonna tremble. And he's an absolute. And he's messaged me on Instagram like, "Oh, you're an inspiration, mate." And I'm like, "Has he messaged the wrong person?" No, and like my staff, like, well, everyone, Al Crane, like, I love Smithy. But I've gained friends. I think you asked at the thing the other day, we had to sit on stage, didn't we? And I know I'm absolutely useless at standing up.
No, you're not. Yeah, but even that, this is the thing we're going to evolve with Luke for next time is, even this limit and belief bullshit about talking, Luke. No, this has been amazing. It's nonsense. I think in the same way, you have the limit and belief around maybe that physical identity or the habits. It's if you've done it in one area, you can do it in another area, mate. And I think one thing we try and catch clients with, and me in particular, is catch people when they're saying something negative or trying to pat themselves down. And this is true to my heart because I know I was the same with football and also when I stepped into the public speaking space myself. I can't do that because I've not done X and everyone's got value to give. So that's nonsense, mate. Nonsense.
Yeah, I do. You say catch yourself. It is the one thing still that I say, "Oh, I'm fucking useless at that." And like you say, you shouldn't because.
But as you've just said, if you're around people who you are looking up to, like even me with Richard Porter, not many people know this, but I have a one-to-one communication coach because literally I know I can talk, but I remember seeing Richard Porter on stage, literally at one of our events, and I thought, fucking hell. I know I'm good, but this guy's another level. How can I be better? But this is the power of being around an inspiring community, because whether someone is a little bit better than you at talking, or someone's a little bit stronger than you, a little bit faster than you, or maybe someone's a little bit kinder than you, you can lean on these people and sort of install that trait, or try to install that trait, behavior or skill into your identity, and then you become more valuable as a person, you become more confident. So that's the community we're trying to create. It's not just about body and lasting change and health and performance. It's all said and done, we're all trying to be a healthier, happier person. You know what I mean?
When you see some of them lads, I did that. We had to go off on the tables, and I went to Mustafa and Danny Boyle's table, and well, they're both amazing. But Mustafa, he's been at the very top of his field. He's like, my eyes, like a god of what he does. A little bit older than that, but to see him still trying it, he wants to get so much better every day. And that's infectious because I'm like, well, if he wants to still get so much better, and Richard's the same. I watched Richard Porter at the last event. They're all sitting there, these amazing people. They're all sitting there taking so many notes down and I'm like, if they want to get so much better, they're now. So like, in the past, I might have had a bit of smoke blown at my. You think, oh, you're doing all right? Yeah, cool. I've done all right. That's right. I come to these events now, and I'm like, oh, fucking, I can get so much better.
Yeah.
And I now, I think I said it the other day to a few people. Literally, I feel like I can do anything. I'm so much more confident now. Everyone used to think I was confident, probably because I was always on the beers and doing whatever. Now I'm genuinely confident in what I'm doing.
Why?
I think, is it what they said the other day? I think Stefan said it in his talk about just compounding out these little wins all the time, these little habits that you build, gives you that confidence. And obviously that's happened over the last year and a half. And then I'm around all these other people that, like I say, they're doing the same and they still want to get better. I think I'm sure you are aware of it, but probably not as aware as you could be, how much you drive. I think every year, I said it's Tory, Kirk ups his level and it drags everyone else in the community along with it. So then we're all like, coming trying to keep up, but like, you elevate the expectations of everyone in the group, so then we all get better with it, I think.
Yeah, and
so it's just like a ripple effect everywhere.
It is. And I've even said to Luke though, even though that's very kind words, Luke, I'm very, very grateful. I've actually said to Luke, like, we're going to be doing the High Rocks together in June. We're going to be in the same race, aren't we, with the pro singles? Yeah. And I said to Luke, beat me. I literally said, beat me. I said, like, this 40-year-old body, I said, I've got a stronger mind than I have body, but nothing makes me feel so good as much as you've just said, I drive the standard, absolutely. The consistency, me, the team, and I don't take my foot off the pedal. But equally, I think great coaching and I believe great leadership is making other great leaders. And if you can be... Well, this is my goal as a coach, be that good as a coach that I can help as many clients as possible literally get better than me. Yeah. Then that for me really does make me happy, Luke. It really does. So hopefully you take me apart in High Rocks. But like Luke said, it's not the Kirk Miller show. Different people pass the baton for different things, and but it's all under one roof, and I think that's what's so special.
I think with you again, I'm not just saying this. I've been with you 3 years. You actually, I've said this to Tori hundreds of times. There's hundreds of coaches on Instagram. You can pay whatever you want to go and be coached by anyone, but you actually, and I've said this to loads of my mates and everyone, you actually give a shit.
I swear on every podcast. Don't worry.
But no, you genuinely care, and like you always, and it's not cliche. It's not asking about how the family are and all that sort of stuff. I see what you've got out of me turning my life around, so that's a testament to you. But I think that's how it should be. Like if you're coaching someone, and I've taken so much from that about how much you want everyone to get better, and it ain't like you say, it's not the Kirk Miller show, but obviously you're leading it from the top, and and you're driving the standard. So I don't think you let anyone settle inside the community, and then that's fed into the coaches. Stevie's the same, like. Yeah. Before, if I weren't in the app, they'd be messaging you. Why, like, not horribly, but like, and they're all different with different people. Like driving that standard to always get better, and it's that thing of, all right, you've done all right, well done, right, we're going to go again. What are we going to do next, and where are we going to go next? So, when you're involved in something like this, which took me probably 2 years of being inside it to realise, and maybe coming to a real in life event, not just being on the group, is you can't not get better when you're around these sort of people. You just can't. I just don't think you can. Or it's either that or you leave. Not in a horrible way, but you jack it in because you'd be like... So I think if you're in this community, you're not going to fail to get better. And in all areas of life now, it's not just about the body, is it? It's about...
No, it's about mindset, it's about performance. I mean, just touching on Stevie, obviously he's a phenomenal coach. Stephen, one of our coaches, Stevie Campbell, he started off as a client. Again, similar. He had a similar sort of journey to yourself. But you guys have actually done a High Rocks together, haven't you?
We've done a High Rocks together. He came down and stayed at mine for 2 nights. I went up to Scotland, where he's from, and we done a High Rocks. We stayed together in a hotel. But even them days, so what's that? 4 days, the 2 days each. We both got so much out. And do you know what's really nice about that is, he's helped me so much over last year. I got to help him a little bit with a couple of things. Even the High Rocks, he said to me, like, it was so led because I got to push him a little bit, and like it was so nice for me to give him a little bit back. So like even now, my coach, I'm managing to help him out a little bit. But I'm so grateful to Steve. He's a great guy, isn't he? He's helped me out so much.
Yeah, he's absolutely awesome. Just as we sort of wrap this up, soon, Luke, because I appreciate your time. I know you've got your family to get back to with your holiday. Just describe, because I think this will be really helpful for a lot of people who run a business, have got kids, but then think, what is a typical day look like for you? What's a typical day's routine?
Up at 4:30 or 5, go to the gym, train a couple of hours. Then it's either, if I'm on the tools, which I'm not very often anymore, so go out on the tools, or sort the boys' work out, go and meet clients, go and price work. Me and my business partner have sort of managed to get to the point now where I quite like picking the kids up from school. I know it sounds, you wouldn't think that would be my idea of fun, especially a couple of years ago. But yeah, it's nice because I look at it as it's what a lot of dads don't get to do. So I go and pick them up from school if I can. Home, Tori runs the gym for her dad. She gets home, dinner, and a bit of chill time in the evening with the family. And obviously weekend. I'll be honest, a lot of it now, probably still a bit of the all or nothing, revolves around my fitness. I absolutely love the training. So a lot of it's around that. Like for my time, if I'm going to go and do something fun now, I'm going to go out and run or.
No, all you've done there, and this is important for anyone who is trying to shift their behaviour and also become a bit healthier and perform better. You can't stop doing something if it's been a conditioned habit over a number of years and not replace it with something else.
Yeah.
I've said this before, like an example of that is my dad. I love my dad, more than anything. But my dad quit smoking, which is usually when someone wants a cigarette as a result of an emotional trigger, and then started eating more when he had that same trigger, and then got type 2 diabetes from poor lifestyle choice, bless him. So if anyone's thinking, oh God, all Luke does is train, like you're gonna find a way to meet your needs in empowering ways, neutral ways, disempowering ways. So pick your poison, really. So and it just so happens that you've replaced that urge to have drinks with more exercise, which is good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you in the moment. It's good for you afterwards. It's good for other people, right? We've got testament to that because Tori is now exercising more, wants to do a high rocks. The kids, I'm sure, they've been inspired to move around and go, how can I copy it?
Oh, yeah, they know what high rocks is. Like they know, they've grown up around the gym environment a little bit anyway. But I've got a gym in the garden. Ronnie comes up there. If I ever go up there, he'll be up there and he'll be trying to do the cable pull downs or whatever. They're very conditioned to the gym environment now, which again is great. Going
to be instrumental for their confidence.
Yeah,
and confidence and energy.
Sorry to jump in quickly as well. It just came into my mind as well. It is around the kids, but also I had again probably a limiting belief. I was always Lukey out on the beers on the sesh, and I was probably a little bit at the forefront as well. First on the dance floor, last out, didn't want to go home, like nightmare, wouldn't go home.
Sounds like me back in the day.
And when I first said, right, I'll not drinking on the head for a little bit and really commit to this new lifestyle to see where I go with it. And you never know how it's going to go at the start anyway. No. I had this thing of, again, you shouldn't think about, and I thought I never cared about what other people think. I thought everyone was like, but it's Luke, he's always on the, he loves being on the sesh, this and that. To now, and I said to someone the other day, it took 3 or 4 months maybe. And when I'd walk into a room, it went from, okay, and where you going this year, like what lads or whatever, to now it's cool, what sort of training are you doing? Where are you running? What are you doing? And now, a year and a half down the line, even at this event, it's all very much around how fit you are and what sort of times you're doing. And all that. So it's literally flipped in the space of a year. My whole life's gone from being a sesh head to the lad who loves going out and training and doing all. And I've got so many things. I'm going to do the Barcelona Marathon next year. And I've got God knows how many High Roxy's books, and I want to do one with you and with whoever. And I've got all these. I plan my year now around, not quite as good as Mustafa, but I plan my year now around what sporting events I'm going to go and do to what sessions.
Where you're still getting that social connection. You're still having the fun. I mean, if you think about even our event just gone, right? I'm doing a High Rocks next week. I didn't drink either. It's like you can still do these things, right? You can still we still had God knows how many social events where some people were drinking, some people weren't. How difficult did you find sort of evolving from Luke? If you're in a pub or a restaurant with your friends, they just naturally associate you drinking, to all of a sudden not. Because I know a lot of people struggle with that, who've come onto our program initially of like, yeah, but what about my friends? When you're sort of trying to outgrow that old you or do that thing less, how much of a challenge was that? And what would be your advice to people, if any, for people who are sort of know they want to sort of shake off a certain part of their existing peers?
It was more weird than anything. You go from, again, because I was not just someone who would be on the piers. I would be first in, last out, all night on the dance floor, doing whatever, like dancing like a knob or whatever. So now I go out, and if I'm in that scenario, I don't. Even on not yesterday, the day before at our event, obviously everyone at the bar having a good laugh, and I'd now choose to sit on a table. I'd still go to the bar and have a laugh, and whatever, but I'd choose. The first few months, I thought I'm still going to be Luke Bland, who's mental. I'm just going to have a bottle of water instead, and that'll be even more mental and then I'll quickly learn I don't enjoy doing that anymore. So why am I going to go and do that just to keep everyone else happy? I'd rather sit at the table. We sat there 5 or 6 and we had a right good chat for a couple of hours, and then it'll get to a certain time of the night, and I'll just pull myself out of the situation and go back and do whatever. But some of my friends, they're still my mates. They'll always be my mates. Yeah. Love them all to pieces, but they're still out like doing whatever, which is great if that's what they want to do. But I just don't anymore. And I think for the first few months, it was very much. Matt Wilson spoke about this, and he's gone the other way. He still does very much get involved in it and goes out dancing or whatever. I personally, it's not my idea of fun anymore. So I just don't do it. So at first, it was very much, you've got, again, probably that thing of, I'm Luke Bland, I go out on the sesh. Well, I've still got to do that, but just not drinking. So all of a sudden, I was like, why have I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do that. So I've just grown apart.
The lesson of that is, who you were doesn't have to be who you are and who you want to become moving forward.
You can change so many. Kirsty spoke about this. You can change your identity out until you find the one or who you really want to be or who you are. And that's, I think I've genuinely found. But I don't look back at it as, what a waste. I could have done. People go, do you wish you'd done this when you was 20? No, do I fuck? I've literally had the best. Some of my sessions with the boys were still my best memories.
I echo that. I said that the other day. Do you regret all those lads? Absolutely not. That's some of the greatest memories, and you probably wouldn't appreciate who you're becoming now and how fit you feel and how great you feel if you hadn't gone through some heavy duty parties, etc. So,
and at the same time, would you go back to like now? Would you? What about if you could have one night? Where you go, no. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, because if I wanted to have a beer, I'd have a beer. I've not wanted a beer, and on my kids' life, I've not wanted a beer once since I'm not drinking on the head. And that's nothing even to do with how I just all of a sudden I think it is that thing you say about the penny drop. The penny dropped hard and bounced back up with me because I was like, everything started getting better to such a degree. Like I say, I noticed all this extra time and the energy, and my business was going better, the family and the kids. I was like, why the fuck? Why would I go back to that? And I look at it now, and I love feeling fresh on a Monday and all this amazing stuff. But at the same time, like you say, I wouldn't have not done it because it's taught me a lot of lessons as well.
So can I ask you something? Why do you think some people transform short term, then go back?
Because of that deep, like you say, the why and the deep identity shift. That surface level stuff of they've got like what I did, I suppose. I got in shape. That's all right. I look good, whatever. But then my old deep ingrained habits are still there. It's the identity thing. Go back to I'm Luke Bland. I'm on the piss. I've had 12 weeks slightly off it to get in shape, but right, let's get back to it now. I can try and be ripped, and then slowly it just falls away because you've not done that. And it clicked. It literally clicked in that January. I thought he was fucking right when he said that about the identity thing. It's not. And then it clicked, and I was like, I think it's happening now. Like it's taken. It took 2 years, or it took a year and a half at least in Built to Last for me to lose the weight, put it back on, then have the struggle with everything else, which fucking hell, didn't have any mental health, nothing like that at all. But I didn't feel great about myself, that's for sure, which I'd never had before. And I think a lot of that was, like I say, people blowing smoke on my arse, going that way, and I was going the other way. And then the identity did start to change, and being around great people, seeing what they're doing, and thinking, right, and I know what I'm like. I know if I really put my mind to something, I could be really fucking good at it. Yeah. If I go all in on this, see where we go. And then as I always say, it bleeds into all the other areas of my life. As in, like, I've stopped drinking. I would never do any drugs or anything like that. And gone all in on my fitness. So you look good? No, I've now got a better business, the family, everything. So it's bled into every area of my life, just from going all in on the gym. I don't go, I'll quit drinking. I'll just go, I've gone all in on my health and fitness. So yeah, it's bled into everything else in my life. And it's never been so good. So
exactly. So I think a great takeaway from that is you got to first of all get clear. You know, what is that new identity? Like I did in the training the other day, right? It was like, okay, how do you describe yourself right now? Mm-hmm. How deep down in your heart would you love to describe and see yourself? And what needs to happen? Because you can sort of feel that new identity short term, as Luke said, with the body. But then you've got to optimize and condition that new identity for it to stick. And that's what we work so hard inside Built to Last, is creating that environment where those new habits, those new standards, they just stick. Because I think there's nothing more disempowering when you progress, you go backwards, you progress, you go backwards.
The consistency side of it is unbelievable. Them tiny little wins every day, it don't half add up, doesn't it? Like one good workout, well done, you put like 10 good ones into 10 other good ones, and before you know it, you look in the mirror and you go, you know, it's actually that exercise you got to do the other day, actually, it was I am, there was 5, I think you actually didn't you? And
5 I am statements, with current identity, and then future, and then there was in between the gap.
So I done.
What are the beliefs? What are the beliefs? What are the standards? What are the skills you need to learn to create that new identity?
Well, the first box I had 4, and it was I am fit, I am healthy, a good dad, husband, whatever. And there was one missing, and the only other one I had in the one after, which is a testament, because a couple of years ago it wouldn't have been any of them, was I added I am. And I put confident. I am very confident, but I meant with certain things like the public speaking and stuff, because I get very nervous about getting up and doing something. So it's just something I can improve on. But what I'm saying is, them ones that are in the first section 2 years ago, I couldn't have. If I was being brutally honest, I couldn't have put I'm fit, I'm healthy, none of them things were there. So it's come a long way.
There's a big difference between saying I have to go to the gym, as opposed to I am a gym goer, or big difference to someone like, you know, I want to be healthy to I am healthy. And honestly, if you listen to this, until you can look yourself in the mirror and have that conversation with yourself and genuinely believe in the bottom of your heart that you are someone who describes yourself as confident, fit, strong, healthy, for me there's work to do. For sure. Lukey, mate, we could probably talk all day, mate, but I'm totally respectful of your time. What would you say to someone, just as a takeaway, who, what we're in now, as we film this, it's just into April, so this will go out in a couple of weeks, who is going around in circles, they know they've got more physically, mentally, emotionally. What would be your advice to them?
For me, I look at who do you really, really want to be. And I forget everything else. This is what I did. Forget everything else on the side. Like I've said loads of times today about the identity. I'm Luke who goes on the pitch. Who do you really want to be? Like really, really want to be. And then fully commit to that. Like I say, being inside Built to Last has massively helped me do that. But it's taken a year and a half, or 2 years probably, to get to that point. So it's not like I've just gone. It's all right me saying that. Just think it and do it. Like it's taken me a year and a half, 2 years of making loads of mistakes, doing things wrong, to thinking, no, if I can fully commit and be that person, and I'm slowly getting there now. So if I was to say anything, just sit there and think, who do you really, really want to be? And go for it.
What is your goal moving forward? What is the goal for Lukey Bland?
Just keep getting better. Literally, that is it. Just keep getting better. I would have never said that before. It was always very money driven. Always been very money driven. I wanted a McLaren by the time I was 35. Honestly, that was my thing. How pathetic. Like,
why?
I look now. Yeah, exactly. Why? Like what a load of bollocks. And I'm never getting a McLaren. I don't want a McLaren. I get more buzz out of running around the Palmer the other day with Chris Hughes and seeing him buzzing that he'd gone and done it than I ever would from going and getting a McLaren. So no, it's get better, mate. Just keep getting better. I've done my coaching thing, so I've started to try and do a bit of coaching to try and help other people. And just get better with everything: fitness, health, and obviously mainly family, man. So
Luke, mate, absolutely exceptional. I'm sure anybody listening to this, the value packed in that and the honesty is genuinely world class, Luke. Honestly, for someone who says they struggle with talking, mate, that was from the heart and brilliant. So I'm so grateful for your time, mate. And you know what? Honestly, you are literally way more than a client now. You're like family to me, Luke, and I know the best is yet to come. And I'm sure we're going to get you. One of the goals I've got for you is to get you into that worlds in High Rocks. I know that'd be an immense goal. I have no doubt in my mind. And we'd definitely do a doubles High Rocks together. And hopefully, after my New York High Rocks, Lukey's kicked my ass in Hard Rock June as well. But no, great. We're gonna have a great time together.
Amazing,
Luke,
mate.
thank you so much for your time, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And for those listening, don't hesitate to reach out to me or Luke if you ever want to pick our brains on anything you've heard today. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.